Hello everybody, my name is Adam, also known as the Pickleball Guy, and on this week's episode we are going to be talking about forehands. Let's jump in. Before we get started, I want to note that these tips are specific to my forehand. I've found lots of success hitting this way, but everybody does things a little bit differently. Personally, there are three main tips I'd give to hit a successful forehand. 1, pick your spot. 2, shorten your swing. And 3, bend and snap the wrist. The biggest mistake I see players make is not being intentional in pickleball, especially with their ground strokes. So, when you're at the baseline getting ready to hit a forehand, choose where you want to hit that ball. Facing two opponents who don't communicate well, aim low and down the middle. Facing an opponent who struggles with reaction time, rip it right at their body. Facing an opponent who pantsed you in 7th grade, but your underwear also accidentally came off in front of the entire 8th grade class, write them an angry letter and plot your revenge. Because pickleball points move quickly and the court is very small, it's important to have a short, compact swing. We want the entire range of motion to take place pretty close to our body in this kind of little circle right here. We don't want to go too far on the backswing or too exaggerated on that follow through. Even though we will occasionally have time to really wind up for a shot, we often won't have that luxury, so keeping our swing short at all times will help with consistency. The final tip to hitting a successful forehand is to bend and snap your wrist. Pretty much all of the drive that I achieve on my shots comes from the snap of the wrist, not from the entire swinging motion. So before I hit a shot, I'm going to bend my wrist, and when I start to make contact, I'm going to snap that wrist. All three tips considered, the forehand should look a little bit something like this.
What grip should I use for my forehand?
Since I'm coming from a tennis background, I personally like to use what's called a semi-western grip with my forehands, which basically means I'm hitting with a slightly closed racket face. That said, I know a lot of different players who use other grips which work for them, so if you can follow the 3 tips I just mentioned, I would recommend doing whatever grip feels most comfortable for you, and try to experiment with it. Have a little bit of fun if you can. In this drill, you and a partner will line up across from one another on the baseline, and you'll hit 3 cross-court forehands to one another. Once you've done that, slide over to the center and continue hitting forehands back and forth without breaking the rally. Finally, slide over and hit inside-out forehands to one another until each of you has hit about 10 or so total shots. In this next drill, you'll have human targets lined up across from the net, and you'll imagine that each one of them is the kid who pantsed you back in 7th grade. I have not forgot about that. The more precise your forehands, the more sweet the revenge. Okay folks, well that wraps up another video on my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something in this video that was useful, and I hope you'll continue to tune in week after week. I will see you all next week.